All right, let us begin the invocation. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhe Bhavatu Me Sada Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Yes. Can someone recollect what is it that we've seen last? Anybody? Anything you can recollect? Yes, please. Yes, please. Anybody, if you can form the link and we can move ahead. Adhyaya 3 is interesting in the sense that it gives a fusion of the material and the spiritual lives. Sometimes we distinguish it. Krishna is going to bring about a fusion about both the types of lives. Yes, anybody? What did we see last, if you can recollect? I hope yesterday's session was not that bad. Something can be recollected. Yes, Vinaji. Yes, please. Thank you. Vinaji's rescue. Thank you. Yes,
Lord Krishna says one has to have control over the senses to attain blissfulness, to
Ji.
attain, yeah, and
So,
control over the emotions, and only then, can you live.
yes, yes. So this control of emotions, it is different from being emotionless, isn't it?
Yes.
Since we are having emotions, we are human beings, so we will have emotions. But control is important. If control is not there, that is the problem. So Krishna talked about what was the awakened state of prajna. Interestingly, he said if you can maintain this at all times, in difficult moments, in happy moments, if you're able to keep this until the prayana kala, until the last moment also, then moksha is yours, liberation is yours. That was something Krishna talked about. Yes. Anybody would like to add anything else?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one who is the slave of the desire is the
Yeah.
slave of the world.
Ji.
And one, if you control the mind by meditating the divine, then we can be our intellect will be awakened.
Awakened. Awakened. So higher consciousness will come. But until we are free from that trap, our desires will trap us, isn't it? Any example of some desires which generally bind us, if we can think of? Anybody?
Food.
Yes. Okay. Johi said food. Yes.
Family.
Okay. Binaji says family. How is it family, Ji? Desire for a family or desires of the family? What is it? A little more specific from what you're talking about?
Desires of the family. We wish that every member of the family is happy and contented.
But that is a prayer we do in the end, no? In the end, we say, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, let all, we say, bigger family of the world. But there's a point in what you are saying also. So what happens then? Means wishing for everybody, how is it trapped?
Ambitions.
Ambitions, okay, personal ambitions. That is one thing. Okay,
Attachment. Attachment to.
attachments. Yeah, attachments, isn't it? Because of attachments, then we get manipulated also, isn't it? I'm your friend only, no, you must do this. This one very childhood friend was there. His dialogue was, I'm your friend only, no, and he used to make us do everything just because you are the friend. So again, entanglements, attachments, all of these are always pulling us down, preventing us from a free experience, from a today's freedom, what we can say, Independence Day. We should experience Swaraj, isn't it?
Freedom.
Yes,
Freedom.
yes. Lokmanya Tilak had said, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. That was a revolution that time, isn't it? Even thinking of freedom was a difficult thing at that time. Why? All around there was no, it was looking hopeless. There was no possibility. At this time and age, freedom is not possible. And yet, so many people were willing, were ready. Even afterwards, Azad Hind Fauj, so many young men, so many young women. They went for the cause of freedom. So freedom is important. But now what do we need? We also need a freedom right now, isn't it? So we need a little bit, like with times there is evolution. What is the next slogan after Lokmanya Tilak ji? We can say, like, Swaraj is my birthright. Why not say Sakshatkar is my birthright? And I shall have it. Shouldn't we seek that? Low aim is a crime, so we have to experience that. Why should we experience it? So we can become free. And when we are free, we can set others free also. We care for our family, so for our family, we have to become free. Not just for ourselves also. For that, we have to realize, and the higher realization cannot come as long as you are bound. Arjuna was bound with his thoughts for his family. He thought he is doing good for Draupadi. He is doing good for Abhimanyu by running away from the battle. He thought he is doing good by feeling sad and crying for everybody. But in retrospect or in hindsight, do we say, was he doing anything good in the first adhyay? Anybody? But his emotions were genuine, somebody will say, isn't it? Yes, Shantiji, but his emotions were genuine, no? He was not acting. So even genuine emotions, if they are misplaced, it's a problem. So that's a liability. That was one thing which is very important in the second adhyay. Krishna very, what we can say, clearly talks about it. And he says, you have to rise above it, become the sthita prajna, experience that consciousness, and not just one moment, two moment. Experiencing it throughout life will ensure you become free. What is that freedom? We will see that later on. But now we have to see Arjuna's response. But one thing we know, isn't it? In this dialogue, Arjuna forgot his sorrow or not?
It's forgotten.
He's forgotten in the discussion he is having. So that is interesting, isn't it? Because yesterday we saw how when people get attached to desires, they become attached in one particular subject that immediately they get attached to it. Because of that, desires are generated and desires are not fulfilled. And because desires are not fulfilled, anger is generated. Because anger is generated, again, Smriti Bhransha is happening. A person is forgetting the memory. Somebody is very talented, suddenly starts feeling, I'm not talented at all. I never had any talent. Why? Smriti Bhransha. And because of Smriti Bhransha, Buddhi Nasha. Means whatever wisdom, Vivek, everything is lost. Now I'm just, whatever everything is being told, I'm listening to that only. And because of Buddhinash, what happens? The personality is destroyed. The brilliant personality which has to blossom is not blossoming at all. So that is why Krishna tried to tell it to Arjuna. But Arjuna is emotional. So he will not fully understand what Krishna has said. So he's asking a doubt. This also shows we have a freedom to ask questions in Sanatana Dharma. There's no rigid discipline. It is a self-discipline which is developed, not imposed. So Arjuna is asking the question. Let us, without delay, enter into the third adhyay. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani ghore mam niyojasi keshava. Arjuna asked, Oh Krishna, haven't you just said what is superior? That spiritual knowledge over material action is better. Then why is it that you coerce me into action? This ghastly karma on me, why do you sanction? Again, I forgot today's, I have a ritual which I do. Uh, Everybody who can turn on video feeds, please turn on video feeds. It's a kind request. If you do not turn on video feeds, there's nothing I can do about it. I can only request. So yes, please. So Arjuna has asked this question. Haven't you said what is superior? What is superior? Greater than this, he says, greater than material action. You started talking about karma yoga. You started about telling ma phaleshu kadajanam, perform your actions. But another side, you are suddenly talking about realization. You're talking about mukti. You're talking about sthita prajna. So he says, one, I am from the old-fashioned thought. You either talk about spirituality or you talk about material life. Don't confuse. Don't mix both of them together. He says, no. Then why are you telling me this ghor karma? You're talking about karma to become free. Yuddha is not a karma which is going to make me free. Instead, this will start a chain reaction of more karmas. So I'm going to get trapped. And what is this? This is a ghastly karma. He's again not considering it as duty. He's considering it murder, worst action, wrong action, something like that. Why do you sanction this karma on me? He goes on further. It's like doctor medicine काम नहीं कर रहा है, patient says, no, something like that. Immediately, Arjuna's next shloka is saying, "Ki Krishna, your words didn't work for me at all." It says, Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohaya siva me tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. My mind stands confused and disarrayed, for it fully understands not all that you have said. Hence, show me which is the correct way. What will benefit me? I request you to please say. He said, I'm still confused. He had said in the last adhyay, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam karpanya dosho pahatas sabhava prachhami tvam dharma sammudha cheta. I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm scared, I don't know what is the right way. Please tell me what is Shreya, Yat Shreyaha. We saw this. Anybody remembers that distinction between Shreyas and Preyas? We had looked at it once. Anybody? Can you just tell something about it? What is Shreyas? What is Preyas? Anyone? Anybody? We had seen it. It's in relation to the Kathopanishad also. The dialogue between Nachiketas and Yama. It is very nicely described there. So, yes,
Prayas
anybody?
means desirable and Shreyas means
Okay.
needed.
Yeah, so there is something called need and there is something called desire. So what do we desire? We desire things which will make us more comfortable, isn't it? We look for that. We look for comfort. We look for something which pleases us. That is desire. But needed, what is needed is sometimes not very comforting also, isn't it? Sometimes you have to raise your voice. Sometimes you have to say no. Sometimes you have to say, I cannot tolerate this. All these make us little uncomfortable. No, what if somebody thinks this way? What if that is going to happen? So here there's a big distinction. But when you get a choice between what is desirable and what is needed, what should we choose? Anybody? Need and desire. Both are supposed, they look equally alluring. One side need, one side desire. What should be chosen?
Need first.
Need only, isn't it? Yes. And that is why even Yama, he tried to trick that young boy Nachiketas. But he says, no, I'm not going to fall prey. I know what is needed is only important. So like that, Arjuna says it. But interestingly, he says something to Krishna. He says, Krishna, tell me clearly. Indirectly implying that Krishna is only confusing him. Krishna is not saying clearly is what his indirect accusation is when he says, Tad ekam vada nishchitya. Tell me anything, any one thing, which is going to be Shreyas for me, which is going to be needed for me, which is going to be right for me. If you're going to talk about the material life, I'll follow it. If you talk about the spiritual life, I'll follow that. But you're trying to mix both. Ye khichdi chalegi nahi. I want one. Tell me one clearly. But is this so different, material life and spiritual life? Many people say, no, I am living a spiritual life. And what do? They levitate. Why is it so different, spiritual life and material life? Because Arjuna thinks it is different. We'll just look at it once and then we'll go into the next shloka, what Krishna is going to answer. Anybody? Is there a big, thick line separating spiritual life, material life? Or it is in our mind only? Hey, that person, there is different, this person is different, this person is like this. Yes, anybody? What is your opinion on this?
Hari
Yeah.
Om.
Hari Om ji. Yes, Arpita ji.
I think there is a very thin line between
There's a very thin line. All right.
between spiritual life and materialistic life.
Okay. So there is some line, but it's a very
I-
thin one.
Ah,
Okay. All right. Arpita ji says, yes, there is a line of difference between this and the other. Shri Aurobindo is like having an eraser and erasing that line also, saying all
I've
life
noticed
is yoga.
it's not
Yeah.
totally
Yes.
different, but
Yeah.
there is a line, but
Okay.
very thin line.
Okay. We have to understand that. I remember when my father was actually admitted in the ICU just a couple of years ago, a friend of mine, a classmate who used to do a lot of tricks in school and pranks, all of it, he had become the doctor and he was a resident there on the emergency medical services. So he came to me and, buddy, can we have a coffee? I was like, yes. Otherwise, you are into Gita, so you have stopped coffee and everything. You are no more. I said, yes. I've stopped sleeping. I've stopped eating. I've stopped brushing. I've stopped clearing bowels, everything. Because mindset is like that. The spiritual life is different. Spiritual life is different. Arjuna also, despite being a very modern yogi, modern warrior at that time, he also had that mindset. No, this is a different life. This is a different life. Krishna is mixing both. Tell me one that is profitable, that which is right for me, that which is needed for me. You tell that to me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Krishna speaks. Lokesmin vividha nishtha pura prokta maya nagha jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Shri Krishna said, men of two faiths in this world dwell. O pure one. Pure one because Arjuna is sincere. His heart is clear. Sincere questions are always welcome. And Arjuna is going to ask a lot of them. We are also going to get benefited by that. Oh, pure one. As I said before as well. Remember, Krishna had talked about two different types of buddhi. Vyavasayatmika buddhi and then avyavasayatmika buddhi. One intelligence which is going to unify the consciousness. Another intelligence which is going to see divide everywhere. Krishna had talked about that divisive intelligence will make you see division everywhere. Right from this person's style of speaking, the style of clothes, the ideology, the way the person is, everywhere one division starts happening. Then in senior and junior also, on the same marg also we will start seeing divisions. Because that is the nature, that is that type of buddhi. So Krishna says here there are two types of faiths, he says. Oh, pure one. To whom? But these are two different faiths. These are the faiths about the marga, on the spiritual life. He says there are two types of approaches. O pure one, as I had said before as well, those to whom seeking the eternal knowledge gives satisfaction, and those who believe firmly in the yoga of action. So the seekers of the Sankhya knowledge. The Sankhya is a great philosophy of the Atman, which is the Sanatan philosophy. So some of them, they just try to seek, receive and experience the Ananda in this philosophy. And then there are the others who say, no, I believe only in works. I believe in material action only. So there are two faiths generally in people. Generally, Krishna is saying. Krishna goes on, he says, Na karmana manarambhan naishkarmyam purushoshnute nacha sanyasanadeva siddhim samadhi gacchati. But a state of detached action in works can't be reached without man's beginning and performing the action. And great spiritual boundaries can't be breached by physically renouncing all the works or by inaction. So Krishna is saying a state of detached works in actions. A state of detached action in works can't be reached without beginning or performing the action. It's like an Olympic athlete has come and is welcome in India. And suppose I am there and he says, I didn't win the gold medal. I can also say, I also didn't get the gold medal. Will it make a difference? Yes, isn't it? I have not participated in the Olympics. The question does not arise at all. So who can claim detachment? Somebody who has done works, who is doing works only can say, not someone who has never done any works. So without karma, you cannot get Naishkarmya Siddhi. People say, I don't want to create sanskara, I don't want to get trapped in entanglements. So they don't do their duties thinking they are free. It's not possible. Without beginning the works, you cannot become detached. That is the best example of, say, Olympic champion can say, I didn't win Olympic medal. We cannot say without playing, I never participated. I also didn't win. No difference. No, there is a lot of difference. So in the path also it is like that. Without man beginning and performing the action, and great spiritual boundaries can't be breached by physically renouncing all the works or by inaction. Adhyatmic also, not just the material world. Yes, works need to be done in the material world also, but transcendence in the spiritual world is not possible without performing your duties. Great boundaries, they have to be reached. They have to be breached. You have to reach the highest state of consciousness. You cannot do that without actions. That is why Sri Aurobindo also says perfection in works is spirituality. Yoga karmasu kaushalam, as in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said the tenet of Karma Yoga, excellence in works, detachment and yet excellence. That somebody had asked a question, what will be the motivation then? That we'll have to find out. Krishna has not given it yet. Krishna goes on, he says, Nahi kashit shanam api jatu, tishtatya karma krut, karyathe yavashaha karma, sarva prakruti, jair gunaihi. Not a single such moment can pass for man, as without engaging in activity, exist no one can. This nature's qualities in all beings has been endowed, a bond of works and actions on man has been bestowed. Krishna says, Nahi kashchit shanam api jatu. Not a moment goes when you are not performing action. Anybody, what is, at this moment, what action are we performing? At this particular moment. Krishna says, always karma is going on, actions are taking place. Any action we can think of right now? We're all just sitting in a place, isn't it? We're not doing any physical work that way. So are we inactive or we are actually engaging in some conscious karma? If we are, what is it? Anybody? Is something going on or is nothing going on? Anyone? Yes, please. Okay, Meghaji says listening. Yes, Manisha ji, you were saying something? Yes, sorry? Sorry, reading. Breathing. Okay, breathing. That is one action, isn't it? Breathing is happening all the time. Imagine our lungs say, Arey, everybody is wanting strike. I'm also going to go and now strike for break for some time. That's it. But that is the entire activity that is keeping us alive. That is why it is said pranayam must be done. The ayam of the pranavayu, which is entering and leaving. We are alive because of this simple act, which is happening involuntarily. Saritaji says Shravanam, listening. Our eyes are seeing. Plus, we all have our own, you can say, pool of experiences, isn't it? So we are interpolating the teachings of the Gita with our comprehending, as Vidisha ji said, trying to identify its practical significance. And each of us has a different set of experience, isn't it? Each one living at different places, different times, different circumstances. All of us are trying to interpolate. So even realization comes. These are karmas which lead to realization. Buddha talked about being people being one spark away from realization. Just don't realize it. We don't know that we are not that far away. Why? Probably we are not conscious enough. So any moment, Krishna says, no moment can come when nothing is going on. Go to a park. You'll say nothing is going on. Everybody is just chilling and relaxing. Not really. Go look closer. You'll see somewhere a couple will be sitting. They'll probably be sharing. They may not have met after a very long time. They are meeting. So for them, it's the most important moment. Elsewhere, a little child is running. The child is running he's enjoying. A dog is barking somewhere. Birds are flying. Butterflies are pollinating. So many actions if you look at it consciously. Otherwise, you'll say there's nothing going on. So Krishna says, Arjuna, at every moment, karma is going on. Even when you're sleeping, body is performing physiological functions inside at all times. So karma is always going on. This is a rule of Prakriti. This is a bandhana. This is a bond that Prakriti has imposed in us. We cannot escape from it. And the gunas and Prakriti, they have a role. Again, the word guna has come. We will keep it in abeyance because later on Krishna will introduce it. So nature works in human beings through gunas. That is one thing we can understand. And there are three gunas, Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. Beyond it, let's not look at it at the moment. Man is bonded by work and action at all times because of nature. Karmendriyani sayyam ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mithyacharaha sa uchyate. A way to physically control the senses a man may find, but if he constantly thinks of the senses in his mind, he is caught up in self-discipline's wrong notion. Such a being is beguiled by his misplaced devotion. Krishna says this. He says, maybe physically I may try to control my senses, but in the mind, I'm still attached to that only. So have I understood the real meaning of it? No. It's a misplaced devotion in the wrong place. I'm actually pressuring myself so much. Many times one dietitian had come, she had said, normally tell people to follow a particular diet. When that person gets so trapped physically, they somehow control 2, 3, 4 days, and then they phone and say, I'm not able to stop, please give me permission for a cheat day. What has happened? Because mind is attached. So the person has not understood why is it being done. Is it being done because you have paid fee to that dietitian and the dietitian has given you a prescription? No, it's because you only want to improve. You only want to get that self-discipline. But that is forgotten. That's what Krishna is saying. Physically, controlling senses, yes, that's good. But you have to transcend. That desire has to be lost. Otherwise, self-discipline. It is forced, enforced, and it's no use. Anybody forces something upon us, we will not like it, isn't it? I'll do it myself. I'll do 100 push-ups, 50 push-ups a day, all right. But don't force me to do it. Why? I don't like people sitting on my head. That is normal experience for everybody. Same thing with our mind also. Why not? Yoga is what they call sahaj, naturally. Dhyana, meditation, it will happen naturally. You don't have to force it. It happens by evolving. It is something which happens as a consequence. Krishna goes on, he says, Yastvi indriyani manasa niyamya rabhaterjuna karmendriyaihi karma yogam asaktaha sa vishishyate. He who by the mind controls the senses and is detached, O Arjuna, from all sensual disturbances and performs all his works and actions in his yogic way, he is considered most superior person any day. So Arjuna's question was, is the material person superior or is the spiritual person superior? Krishna has clearly said, a person who is doing his action, where is he doing his action? Not in Svargaloka, in Bhuloka only. In this world, his everyday regular actions, that person is able to do in a detached way, not getting disturbed from outer surroundings. A lot of time we also realize the need for detachment, isn't it? Many times these people are throwing negativity at me. I'm getting negative vibes from this place. I don't want it. I want to insulate myself. I want to reject all of these unnecessary disturbances. Why are you rejecting it? Because it's disturbing your action. It is affecting your works. It is affecting your life experience. So you don't want it. That is exactly what Krishna says. The mind, it's important. So with the mind, somebody who is controlling his senses is detached and performs all the works in a yogic way. Yoga in the sense union. Union with what? Union with the divine. It is possible to be connected with the divine in your actions. An artist can connect with the divine while making beautiful artwork. A singer can connect with the divine through a song. Like that, any action, we can use it as a vehicle. And one who has understood how to use the action as a vehicle for spiritual life, that person is most superior, is what Krishna is saying. Greater than the so-called absolutely pure spiritual person or so-called material person. Meaning, this line must vanish. We don't have to keep that. It's a very simple question. I think most of you must have heard of this, isn't it? Monk who sold his Ferrari, a very famous book. Yes. Do we have to be monks who are selling Ferraris, or we can be monks in the Ferrari also? Possible, isn't it? It doesn't have to be. Our Sanatan Dharma has given us so many examples. Look at Janaka Raja. What a great one he was. We'll hear about him endorsed by Krishna himself. The king who was free, surrounded by wealth, not having greed for wealth, utilizing wealth for the betterment of the world. How simple is that? It's actually possible. He goes on further. He says, Niyatam kuru karma,
Sushruti,
tvam karma. Yes, ji.
just one thing.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Will a monk need a Ferrari?
If the monk is connected with the divine consciousness and has to take part in the racing competition, Krishna's wish, we do not know. It will not be a desire. You will not have a desire. Okay, I want some bling, I want vehicle, I want it to appear this way or something like that. But we do not know where the divine needs to, because a lot of people have been running away from wealth in the name of wealth being a source of all evil. Is wealth the source of evil? Garimaji?
No, if it is used in
Used
a
properly.
yes,
So greed for wealth is the source of evil, isn't it?
yes.
But
Okay,
this was a
so
fine line. This was a fine line which was lost. So many people said, no, 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 spiritual people, we should stay away from wealth. Let's move away from wealth. And what happened? All the West went to the Asuras. Wrong people got wealth. What will they do? Will they do good or they'll do bad? They'll do bad only. And wealth is a
right,
force of the goddess Mahalakshmi.
right,
Materially, it is the representative of Mahalakshmi. So it has to be utilized by the sadhaks only for a betterment of world.
yes. So
So maybe if it is required, we're not looking at specifically, I'm not endorsing a particular brand of vehicle also by
yes,
that example. Yes, yes.
yes. So
Ji,
got your point. So the
yeah,
summary is like if wealth is used for prosperity of
yes,
the of everybody around us, then it is good.
yeah. Yes, yes. When Sri Aurobindo came, means he gave his lecture after being released from the Alipur prison. He addressed the youth, I think, the last time before going into a spiritual. He said, if you means everybody had to, spiritualize the freedom struggle. If you have wealth, let your wealth be used for the motherland. If you
Right.
are poor also, in your poverty also, use your resources, whatever you have for the motherland, because they can be used, your whatever capacity. But I think it is important that everybody understands the value of wealth and not get trapped by it, the desire
Yes.
of it. Ji, ji.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ji. Hari Om. So Krishna says, Niyatam kuru karma, tvam karma jayo hyakarmanaha, sharira yatra pichatena prasiddheda karmanaha. Without attachment, perform your every action. Why? Because action always supersedes inaction. How simple is that? Why should you do it? Better than doing nothing is doing something, isn't it? So, niyatam kuru karma, with regularity, with discipline, perform your action in detachment. Even your body's life journey can't be sustained. Without action, no accomplishment can be attained. The physical journey also, you cannot sustain it, isn't it? Or if our life, if we don't take care of our bodies, we don't take care of our physical health, you say, I want to do a lot of sadhana. Will we be able to live a long life? No, if you don't take care of your health, your lifeline will be cut short just like that. Great people should live long, isn't it? Unfortunately, nature has a very strange way of working. We have Shivaji Maharaj living less years, Aurangzeb getting long life. Already nature is not in good way of working. We're not able to predict. So what we have is we have our Sharira. So we should start becoming conscious, because even the journey of our life cannot be sustained without action. And again, our Sanatana Dharma talks about having strong physical also along with mental. Sthirai rangai srushtuvan swastanubhi vyashem deva hitam yadayuhu. Means that swastina indro vrudhashrava swastina pusha vishwavedaha swastina tarksho arishthanemihi swastino bruhaspatir dadadu. All the gods are called. Called for what? Give us strength. Give us strength to become strong. Give us strength to be physically also strong, along with mental strength. It is important. And look at different prayers. Even Chamakam also. Shanchame, Mayashchame, Priyanchame, Nukamashchame, Somanashashchame, Bhadramchame, Shreyashchame, Yashashchame. Well, I need all of this. Give me the strength. Why? Because I want to succeed. Why do you want to succeed? Not for selfish reason, to perform your deeds, to perform your works, so that I can bring betterment to the world with the strength of divine. So in this material life also, we have to become strong. The base or the Aadhar is always the body for a spiritual realization also. So it has to be strong. Krishna goes on, he says, Yajnarthat karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangaha samacharaha. This is almost my favorite slok. Mukta sangaha samachara is a beautiful explanation of what detachment means. Many people feel detachment is cold, cruel, without emotions. That's not detachment. That is indifference, isn't it? Becoming cold and cruel. That is indifference. That is not detachment. Here, Krishna uses the word mukta sangha. Mukta means free, sangha means connected. You are free and also connected at the same time. Krishna says, except the actions that are performed in a state of sacrifice, chained to karma's bonds, are all actions done otherwise. That is why, O Arjuna, your actions you regulate with the freedom of detachment that I postulate. So Krishna is saying, except an action that is performed in a state of sacrifice, all are trapped with karma bandhana. He says, Arjuna, recognize this freedom of detachment. It's a little difficult to quickly grasp also. What is this sacrifice? Is it just the yajna, the ritual sacrifice, or is it the state of sacrifice? If you look at the ritual sacrifice also, anybody has performed any sacrifice or yajnas? Yes. In Agnihotra, it is done. What is the first verse? Agneya Swaha Agneya Idan Mama. You are sacrificing your attachment only, not to me. Offering to the divine, offering to the Deva, not to me, not to me. Suryaya Swaha Suryaya Idan Mama. What is so important about sacrificing? Can sacrifice help anybody? Sacrificing means losing, isn't it? When you sacrifice something, you lose only, isn't it?
Letting go.
Okay,
Oh.
Vidisha ji says letting go. But when you let go means you have lost something, doesn't it? How does it help you?
Makes you free. It makes you feel lighter and free rather
Okay.
than.
Acha. Okay, so sometimes, yes, sometimes we have to let go this. Okay, Lalita ji has written letting go of ego. Yeah, that is also important. Letting go of attachment. Sometimes we get trapped, and what happens when you're having too many bandhanas? You get trapped, you don't know how to move, isn't it? Suddenly it's like I'm carrying this weight also, that weight also, this also, that also. A simple moment of life also, it's like you're not able to experience. We all know Atlas, isn't it? Atlas is carrying the entire globe. Why? Well, he's a titan, Greek mythology. Nobody taught him about Sanatan Dharma. Yare, Sheshnag is already balancing it. You're unnecessarily thinking you're carrying the entire globe. He could have gone to a park, he could have gone and done anything else, but entirely is just holding on to it, thinking the world will now fall. Many times we feel if I don't do this, the world will collapse. No, it is not that. The world will function according to its own principles. You have to hold on to your duties. Instead, you hold on to so many attachments. If I don't this person will feel bad. This will happen to this person. That will happen to that person. All of these are unnecessary bandhanas we are trapping. The bird which can fly freely is binding that for wings only with some kind of thorns for no reason. That is what Krishna is talking about, the freedom. This is the freedom of detachment, and it comes in sacrifice. When you sacrifice, you have nothing to lose. In the chess game, there is something called sacrifice, isn't it? Pawns are sacrificed. Why are they done? They are done consciously, isn't it? They are done consciously because the next move, there's a strategy behind it also. War also, no war can be won with without sacrifice. Sacrifice has to be done. Sacrifice is the basic tenet of any. I think even if we want to, we have to sacrifice if we want to grow, isn't it? No pain, no gain. Somebody wants to learn something, you have to make sacrifices to learn, because without sacrifice, you cannot grow. And Krishna says only when you do in a proper state of sacrifice, without attachment, you are free. You are free from karma bandhanas. You are not going to get trapped. Means when you're truly not in a state of losing anything, because I'm not owning anything, I'm free, I'm doing my work. Say in your own corporate field also, you do your work perfectly, not just because your manager is going to give a proper appraisal, just because somebody is going, I'm going to do it because it's my duty. I have joined this, I have chosen to work here, and I want to do my work right. That's why I'm doing it, not because I'm going to get something in return. Because the moment you attach your action to that return and you don't get the return, you get frustrated. Many times in the corporate setup ladder, it is like that. You are dependent on a team leader. And sometimes the team leader is cranky, sometimes the team leader is crazy also. So if you are only going to be attaching your actions to the outcomes that the team leader is going to define, what's going to happen? You'll not be able to stay. One friend of mine, she worked 8 years in a firm. She didn't leave that firm at all. When everybody was leaving firms, just like drop of the pin, I got a better package here, I'm going. But she was very attached to the outcome. So once her very easily, because of that, she was vulnerable. The team leader manipulated and ultimately created an atmosphere where this person had to leave, and that person was not willing to sacrifice and take one more step ahead. No, 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 I'm just comfortable in this. I will not leave whatever I'm holding on to. So sometimes we have to understand that yes, the no pain, no gain. We have to understand the importance of sacrifice. Without sacrifice, you cannot move ahead. Krishna says here, the Srishti has been created by sacrifice. The very Srishti, the creation itself is an act of sacrifice. He says, सह यज्ञः प्रजाः सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वमेष वोस्त्वेष्ट कामधुक्. Brahma, the progenitor, through the act of sacrifice, bore the first living beings and put forth this edifice. He said, as from sacrifice you all originated, through sacrifice your life's evolution will be actuated. You have been born through a sacrifice. This is the tenet of the Srishti. Brahma has also said, through sacrifice only you will grow. Through sacrifice only you will progress. Evolution will take place because of that. If we go back to our lives, what we have experienced so far, can we say we have grown because of the sacrifices we have made? Maybe at the time of sacrifice, we may have felt, why is it? Why have I done this? Or, array, what is it? I'm not enjoying like the other person. I have to go and sacrifice. I don't like it. But that sacrifice which we have done, whether willingly or unwillingly, it has led to our evolution. And the real spiritual person is willing to do sacrifice at all times. It's not forced by nature to do a sacrifice, consciously ready to let go. Krishna goes on, he says, Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaha parama vapsyatha. Through sacrifice, the gods you can bolster and call upon their blessings with your fervor. Thus, mutually you can together advance. With the Supreme's blessings, all life you can enhance. Krishna says, through Yajna, what is happening? Whom are you offering to the Yajna? To the Devas only. So your energies are being poured, they are consecrated to the Devas. So they are going towards whom? Towards the Devas. So Devas are happy that they have received. And what do the Devas do when they are happy? They bless. It is a paraspara relation of growth. Devas have been assigned, typal beings have been created, which are higher. These beings are higher than human beings. So humans offer to the gods receive the favor and fervor and bless. They bless. So what is happening? Both are advancing. In the Rigveda, there is a name of a goddess. Her name is Dakshina. The role of this goddess is to ensure the shares of the sacrifice reach to the right people, right gods. Means you offer, Agni is called the Devata, who is the medium, who is the inviter, who is inviting, who is the harbinger of the other gods. He invites Indra, Varuna, Bruhaspati, Bhaga, Ila, Saraswati, Aryaman, all of them. It's like when you're sending an invitation to somebody, you send a messenger, isn't it? He kindly please come. So like that, the Agni Devata is doing that job. And then it has to be distributed. So like that is the name of, that is the task of the goddess Dakshina. Interestingly, our importers also in USA, the one who is distributing our Ayurvedic products, her name is also Dakshina only. And for us, she's unfortunately no more now, but she was like a goddess only for us. Perfectly, each person would come to know about the works. So this is important that you offer to the gods. Make your prayers, offer. They will receive it and they will bless you. Thus, mutually, you can together advance. And with the Supreme's blessing, all life you can advance. So the highest blessings are on both also. There's a, see, there's a system, what we can say, it's a metaphysical system of flow of energies which take place. That is what Krishna is talking about. He says, Ishtan bhogan hiva vo deva dasyante yajna bhavitaha tairdattan apradayebhyo yo bhungte stena eva saha. When through sacrifice, the gods you impress, all your desired enjoyments they shall bless. Those enjoyments to the Supreme. whoever doesn't offer, such a person is not but a thieving beggar. Not just a thief, but also a beggar, because he's been begging and then receiving what that person is begging, and then doing chaurya karma after receiving, begging whatever fruits of that. So what is Krishna saying here? He says, through gods you will impress the devas, and they will bless you. You will get certain things. But that also you should not hold on to, you should not steal it. It is not yours. This appears a little crazy, isn't it? Fully, it doesn't resonate. Well, this is a Vedantic statement which Krishna has made. It is the same as the Upanishad, Isha Upanishad's starting verse. Anybody is aware of this Upanishad? The Isha Upanishad is considered to be the most sweetest of Upanishads. And it has the highest principles also. There's Vidya, Avidya, the dualities, the recognition of the divine in all living beings, and then the recognition of the divine inside of oneself also. A very beautiful moment is there in Isha Upanishad. But it begins, its name also is Isha Upanishad because of the first shloka. Anybody is aware of it? The first shloka? Isha Vasyam Midam Sarvam. Yes, I think biology class is unmuted. Yeah.
ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् येन त्यक्तेन पुञ्जीता मा विद्यस्य स्विद्धनम्.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, may I know your name? I can only see biology class on the name. So, yes.
Urmila.
Urmila ji. All right. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, beautifully chanted by Urmila ji about the first verse of the Isha Upanishad. Isha Vasyam Midam Sarvam Yat Kincha Jagatyam Jagat. All that is belongs to him. All that is but his. Whose? Divine's. Living, non-living, everything in the world that is. Ishavasya sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. The second part is tena tyaktena bhunjita ma grudha kasya svidhanam. Tyaktena means sacrifice. Tena tyaktena, sacrifice to whom? Sacrifice to that divine. Why? Because divine is the owner. Your friend gives you a car or a bike. What will you do? Will you say, now it's mine? I can go ride it most rash manner, let as many scratches come to it. What do? You actually are more careful, isn't it? Arey, I have got this from my friend, now I better be careful, not a single scratch should come. I should give it because I am not the owner. You know that you are not the owner. Then you take extra care, something like that. Everything in this world belongs to the divine. Tena tyaktena bhunjita ma grudha kasya svidhanam. Don't try to steal something that is not yours. That is the verse. Second work also goes on. Again, kurvanneveha karmani jijiveshacham sama. Evam tvai nanyat hetosti na karma lipyate nare. Meaning, this is the only way for mankind where you will perform karmas and you will still not be bound by karma bandhanas. Because only if you realize this, kurvanneveha karmani, continuously do your action like this in a regular manner. This regularity is important, and regularity with this offering to the divine. Very recent, one study was done on the top pianists in the world. The number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, they actually are most sought after. So what is the difference in them? Because after a particular level, skills are all equal, isn't it? Just like in the Olympics, we saw that 100 meters, the final dash in the men's competition, so little, just 1/10 of a second. There was a difference. So what was the difference in the top few pianists is the number of hours they have put, not in the skill. The number of hours that were put in the practice, in the discipline. That differentiated number 1 from number 2, number 2 from number 3, number 3 from 4. Something like that. We have to do our actions, Krishna is saying at all times, but offer to the divine, because if you don't offer, here he says we are like a thief and a beggar, but also it has its karmic consequences. Why is it said? Why is it said like this? Because you will get trapped in karma bandhana. If you start, suddenly I got a little bit talent, then I am the champion. You start feeling that. What happens then? The rise is there, and then there's equally big fall from that position. So for that reason, don't hold on to what is given to you also. Recognize it's come to me. Today it is there. Tomorrow it may not. Why should I hold on to it so much? Let us continue. Yagnashishta shinah santo muchyante sarvakilvishaihi bhunjate te tvagam papa ye pachantyatma karanat. After the sacrifice, whatever is the undistributed leftover, the good who are free of sin, eat the oblations reminder. The evil offer only to themselves to eat the food and only consume sin. Their actions accumulate no good. So after the yajna is done, whatever you receive, distribute it. I think at home, prasada is given that way only, isn't it? One person doesn't quickly, I made the prasada, so I am going to eat it. First, it's offered to the deva. Children come and ask also, ये कौन भगवान थोड़ी खाने वाला है क्यों रख रहे हो अभी खाने दो आई एम गोइंग टू ईट इट नो नो अभी नहीं wait wait we are teaching children the patience it is important to control your desire to eat also wait and then give to everybody and then whatever the person receives after it that prasada is having punya in it also it is a higher consciousness you are not just eating something physical it is a spiritual action which has become conscious because of the efforts that you have taken. But somebody who just starts eating like it's just ordered some food online, something like that, the person takes it, there's going to be nothing. The person will not have that realization at all. That is what Krishna is saying. Many times people pray and get some things also, and then they start thinking, I am the best, I am better than everybody, or this is all my strength, what I have earned. Ravana was a great disciple of, what great bhakta, isn't it? Of Shiva. What happened? What was his mistake? What did he do wrong? He thought whatever he got is his only, and then Ahankar came inside. I am the best, nobody better than me. And that is where he fell. That is where the fall happened, the big fall happened. So that is why we should not take unnecessary pride. वो beautiful कव्वाली is there which says तूने क्या बनाई तूने क्या सजाई सब किया है तो उसने तूने बातें बनाई you've done so much I did this I did the divine did all of it you only made stories that you did it that is the approach Krishna goes on he says annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava yajnat bhavati parjanyo yajnah karma samudbhava this is like an ecological niche in the world from food every living being's existence is found. And food is formed when rain falls on the ground. And rain comes from the sacrifice or yajna. And sacrifice originates through the works or karma. So this is like how we sort of say the ecosystem, isn't it? It's something like that. Food is there because of rain, because of Vrishti. Rain is coming because of what? In physics we have learned, isn't it? Fire. Fire leads to rain. How is it leading to rain? Whatever evaporation goes into clouds becomes rain. Something like that Krishna is talking about. This rain is coming because of what? Because of yajna. Because of the yajna. But how is yajna originated? By karma only. A yajna can be done by doing karma only. So the karma cannot ever be forgotten. Never ever forget the karma is an important principle here. Even if you look at just the ritual yajna also, arranging the bricks, identifying the ahutis, getting the oshadis, the herbs, getting different, what we can say. So many things have to be made, arrangement. It doesn't happen just like that, isn't it? Somebody saying mantra, started, suddenly everything started manifesting. No, it is through karma. So karma only initiates the yajna. And many times when yajna is done, after the yajna, when it rains, it is said that the yajna has become fulfilled. It is a symbolic act that the act has been already rewarded with the rain from the heavens. So this cycle, it originates with karma. But where did the karma originate from then? If karma is at the base of everything. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmakshara samudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagne pratishpitam. Karma is born of Brahma or the progenitor, and Brahma of the formless, imperishable creator. Thus, the all-pervading Brahma is engaged, and in the state of sacrifice, the union is arranged. The universe is arranged, sorry. And in the state of sacrifice, The universe is arranged. So karma has originated from Brahma only, the Prajapati or the creator of the Srishti. It's like a title a consciousness is given, the form that created the Srishti. But where did this form come from? This form came from the Akshara or the formless. Thus, this entire universe is engaged. Nityam Yagne Pratishtitam. The entire Srishti is arranged in a state of sacrifice. That is the rule, that is the connecting seed. Everywhere it is sacrifice. If we just look around ourselves also, when we go into the streets, you'll see sacrifice going on continuously, isn't it? So many people in flurry of actions, different people, different walks of life. They're all doing what? They are doing some sort of sacrifice. And our world is just bustling in activity because of sacrifice going on. Why in human beings only? Even nature also, isn't it? You look at ants, you look at other insects, everywhere it is as if somebody has programmed and it's all functioning. And this Srishti itself is running by sacrifice because sacrifice is the rule of this universe. But somebody says, I don't like sacrifice, I don't believe in sacrifice, I don't need to do sacrifice. Why? Because I've got a big bank balance. Will that bank balance remain big if you don't sacrifice? Or it'll get lost. Many times somebody does not earn any money and then inherits a lot of money, doesn't know the value of the money, isn't it? Because the meaning of sacrifice is never understood and it is lost. Because sacrifice is the base. That is something. The next shloka, Krishna says, Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayatiha yaha aghayor indriyaramo mogham partha sajivati. He who follows not this universe's wheel and succumbs to whatsoever his senses feel is base in his pursuit of sensual enjoyment. O Arjuna, such a life is but a wasted predicament. So somebody who says, I don't believe in sacrifice. There was one very nice Charvaka Rishi's statement. Again, Charvaka's philosophy is also interesting, but it is always misinterpreted. But his statement was, Rinam kritva ghritam pibet. Drink ghee, incur debts and drink ghee. Because ghee is costly. So you are going to borrow money. But he's saying drink as much ghee as you want and incur debts because who knows what's going to happen afterwards, after this life. Say parents incur all the debts. They enjoy. They say, I will not do any sacrifice. I'll only borrow. And they have a good party throughout their life. What happens to the children then? Will they receive that or they'll say, no, parents' debt is okay. Now children, nobody will ask. No, debts will be inherited by the children only, isn't it? We all say, the youngsters have this concept, YOLO, you only live once. Well, yes, you are going to live only once, but you are living in a society or you are living in a system where just because you are freeing yourself from something, you are not going to be free from the liability. Somebody else will get it, isn't it? Taking somebody's money and then disappearing. You become free, but somebody else is now there and you have not learned anything from that. In that side, karmic bandhanas were never lost. Even if you are here, you go elsewhere, you will not be able to escape from that truth. And this is something which is very important. Krishna says, he who follows not this universe's wheel and succumbs to whatsoever. Sometimes people say, no, it is we have indriyas, we have senses, we have to just run after the senses. Because senses are everything, desires are everything. A lot of people during Corona lost their senses only, isn't it? They lost the sense of taste. Some of them lost the sense of smell. Can we say they stopped living because they lost that smell? It's just Indriya stopped functioning, but life is going on, isn't it? Life is something which is a little bit more than the Indriyas. That is something which is one must realize. A drunkard keeps drinking because I enjoy the taste. I just enjoy the feeling that comes to me. But what happens? What are the consequences of it? Youngsters think that drugs are cool, so they try to do it and they take drugs. And what happens after that? Then there is a fall. The fall is very bad. Afterwards, withdrawal symptoms also come if they try to withdraw. And sometimes the same drugs which they are taking earlier stops giving them the happiness. So they try to take more and more and in the process destroy their own bodies. Why? Running after their own senses. It is just a waste, is what Krishna is saying. Such a life is but a wasted predicament. I remember in my college there was one friend of mine. He drank so much that he started coughing out blood. First year, second year, third year, smoking and drinking was his regular aspect. So much that he would do it at all times. And fourth year, he started coughing out blood, then started saying, "Oh, you should worship God." Then he started saying, "You should worship my God only." Again, there also he created a lot of controversy in the college. Everyone he started running. But what is this? This is all running after desires only. This is a waste of life. This is not what must happen. Each life is precious. Each life is valuable. It cannot be wasted just like that. And that is why sacrifices have to be made. Sacrifices involve making uncomfortable decisions also when they are needed. We have to learn to do that. Krishna goes on. He goes on further. We'll probably look at two more shlokas. Yastva atmaratireva Syadatma truptascha manava atmanyeva cha santushta tasya karyam na vidyate. But he who revels in the delight of the self and lives joyously contented within the self, such an illumined and awakened person very joyfully exists, as his need for work to be done no longer persists. Krishna says somebody who takes that ananda, revels in the delight of the self, what we call trupti, what we call satisfaction, what we call santoshaha. The person is able to contentment. Contentment is everything, isn't it? That will allow you to celebrate what you have. Because if you don't have contentment, even you may be the richest person on the earth, yet you will be suffering, you will have sorrow because you have not learned what is the meaning of contentment. Sometimes people go on to, they want to go for a fine dine experience. Let me go, I'll enjoy everything here, and they don't experience anything because there is no contentment. The people are not experiencing the joy of the moment. But somewhere else, in a small house, there is no big, large table also. There is no so many multiple cuisines also. Not there. Simple food is there. Yet everybody are so happy that this is actually the greatest ananda. They're experiencing that. So this contentment makes a lot of difference. And Krishna says somebody who revels, who understands the spirit, he can understand the spirit of little things. You become conscious. There you can take the ananda. The rasa is there in every moment if you can extract it. Which is your best time? If somebody asks when you say, "Oh, it was that time when I was young," or when it was this, actually every day can be your best time if you're able to take the rasa. Even your so not so good moments also, you can laugh at your own funny jokes also. What happened? Okay, right. But still it was best time. It could have gone worse. It's all right. I experienced a little bit enjoyment even in this. Like I saw an example of a person, his leg got amputated and somebody asked, "What will you see positive in this?" He said, "I have one shoe less to wear." Why? That is contentment. Trupti is there. That is what is necessary. Krishna says, such a person lives joyously contented within the self. No more is this person needing something from another person. The person is not needy. The person is not dependent on anybody. Such an illumined and awakened person very joyfully exists. The person is enjoying happily in all moments. For his need for work to be done no longer persists. This is very interesting. Means there is not continuous dissatisfaction. Ki this I must do this, I must do that. A lot of people get that. I have to do this, I have to do that. If I do it, then only my value is known. Then only I am worth of something. Then only people will think my value in the market will increase. All these thoughts create unnecessary disturbances. But here this person is very quiet. What needs to be done will be done. But that continuous fire to do something or the other all the time, what we can say that excitement is not there. Krishna goes on. We'll stop at this shloka. Yeah, just two more shlokas. We'll stop at 19th shloka. Naiva tasya krutenartho na kruteneha kashchana na chasya sarva bhuteshu kashchid arthavya pashrayaha. Such a great one. Why is he great or why is she great? It's because they have learned the art of contentment. They're not driven. They're not driven by desires only at all times. Such a great one has nothing to be gained, neither in performing actions nor in inaction. Nothing exists thus in all of existence that can bind him with dependence. Such a person is so free. You call me good, call me bad, it doesn't make a difference. A lot of people are worried about what people will call me, what people will tell, what will society tell, what will other people think. This is an unnecessary dependence that we bind. Society will call me fool today. Fine, it's the wish of the society. We are in a democratic world, isn't it? I'm not a dictator. I cannot say you must call me good. I can't pass a decree also. Even if I pass a decree, 100 people behind my back will go against me only. Because that is the nature of the world. So here, this person is no more dependent on what we can say outer evaluation of that. No, can anybody evaluate us? Can anybody just evaluate and tell us our worth? This is beyond your pay scale. This is a dialogue which is used in corporate setup. Is there anything, can we be equated with our pay scale? No, we cannot. We are much more valuable than anything. Nobody can evaluate at all. No validation, as Disha ji has rightly said. Yes, because each person is a spirit. Each person is a perfectly precious one. You are not better or worse than anybody. You are unique and you are having your own value. Maybe somebody does not understand. It's a nice Sanskrit subhashit also. Amantram aksharam nasti nasti muli anaushadam ayogya purusha nasti yojakas tatra durlabham. There's no word that is not so valuable like a mantra. Means every word can become a mantra. Nasti muli anaushadam. There is no plant which is not capable of being a medicine. Like that, ayogya purusha nasti. There is nobody who is useless. So many people say you are good for nothing. It's false. These are all wrong statements. Ayogya Purusha Nasti. Everybody is having a value. Yojakas Tatra Durlabham, meaning the one who can convert a word into a mantra, the Vaidya who can convert a plant into a medicine, and that Guru who can convert a person who is not understood his value into the value of that person. That is only important, the transformation potential. And this is something which a person must understand. Only when you are free, you can understand this. And that way, you have to look at what is binding you. If something is binding you, you are not understanding your own value. You have to free yourself to understand that. Otherwise, as long as you will be bound, you will be undervalued at all times. What you are meant, you are destined for something. There is a destiny. Can we say only some people are born with destiny, or is everybody having a destiny? Each person is a legend in himself, in her own right, isn't it? His or her right. Each person has to realize that. That is important. Krishna goes on. That is why he says, last shloka, we stop here. Tasmad asakta sadatam karyam karma samachara asakto yacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha. So, perennially perform all of your actions. Perennially means always, at all times. Detachedly fulfill the duties that life sanctions. Life sometimes sanctions duties which we like, sometimes which we don't like also, isn't it? Nature has that habit. Suddenly nature, Prakriti gives us a punch in the solar plexus when we don't expect it only. Suddenly something happens which is out of our control. That is the truth of life. It is the variables which are always there. Means we plan something, we go in a particular way, suddenly life has something else in store for us. It's all right. Become detached. Why? You're going to keep a room space. Keep one space. It's like when boxing, if you have enough space, you can dodge or you can move also, isn't it? You need not get the full brunt of that force. That is why detachment is essential. Detachedly fulfill. Perennially perform all your actions. Detachedly fulfill the duties that life sanctions. Why? For when man in detached action engages with his karma, he transcends the highest stages. When you are engaging in detached action, then only your karma will become a means for advancement. One example I can think of is one participant of a previous batch during the COVID times. She had shared her experience. Her husband got cancer suddenly, out of the blue, out of nowhere. Within a period of 2-3 months, that cancer proliferated so badly, and 4 or 5 months, the story was complete. That's all. Nothing could be done. And she said she didn't have any experience in business. She had no other idea of what to do. But she says, for me, my husband was my guru because that time her husband was detached. You see, if you look at it from his perspective also, it's an unnecessary. What is it? There's no logic only, isn't it? A very crazy duty of a patient has come to a healthy person suddenly. But with detachment, he could put his emotions aside. He started passing on. He started passing on the, business related information so his wife can do the work in his absence. And here the wife also had to put her emotions aside. Maybe not interested in this also. Now duty is calling me to enter into the field. So I will rise to that occasion. And she rose. She learns how so many things which she was otherwise not at all aware of. And she says afterwards she discovered a diary. It's just like the movie, the famous one movie is the P.S. I Love You, that movie. The diary is there. She says in that diary, husband has written so many things which even now I can read from it. I read from it and I get a lot from it. Now, how is this possible? It is detachment. But what has helped in this detachment? Otherwise, what could have happened? In emotions, both have broken down. This has happened. You did like this. God is cruel. World is cruel. Will that change the world? Will it change our life experience if we cry and tell the world something? Nothing will happen. We have no option but to detach in certain situations. You have to. You have to. One Gita class, I remember we were talking about death, and that was the chapter. And my father is in the ICU, and I was supposed to speak, and we were actually not sure what's going to happen. I had asked my teacher what to do. He said, no, this is practical experience for you of detachment. You have to try it. And that time one grandpa was there. He had completed his Sankhya Karika PhD. And he said, you take away my fear of death right now. I was like, right now I am only thinking about my father's case, what's going to happen, and I have to speak. But if those detachment was there, so at least we could speak about it. Otherwise, again, a person becomes only emotional. Emotions only will flood a person. No duty can be performed. In life, always detachment is required. Detachment is not cold. Detachment is not cruel. It is instead used, beautiful term which Krishna has used. We can permanently use that itself. Mukta Sangha, free union. I think we want Mukta Sangha in our relationships also, isn't it? With our family members. Family members should trust us to take our independent decisions. We should be free to take our decisions, but not so free that we forget we have a family also. So that bandhana should be there. But we should not have the bondage. So that is detachment. Parents should understand children, children should understand parent everywhere. Couples must understand each other. Teacher must understand student, student must understand teacher, something like that. So this is possible only when we are free of the outcomes, holding on to the duty in a detached manner. And that is where we stop today. Krishna says highest stages means when your actions are done, you will reach that status naturally. It is just a progression which happens by the growth, a spiritual growth of a person. So with this we stop. We stop at shloka number 19. Tomorrow we will understand in 20th shloka what can be a motivation. Because if we are detached, where is the fire? Sometimes people feel, I am detached, I don't care about anything. Then why will I want to progress also? How do I progress? That's a big question which comes in mind. So let us see. We'll stop at this moment here. If anybody can summarize something, you are welcome. Yes, please. And then we'll have the Shanti Mantra. Yes, anybody?
So the third adhyaya begins the
Yeah,
karma.
okay. Yes.
Because when so it begins like that. So he's still confused is what Archana says. Am I audible? I have some network
Yes,
issues.
yes.
So
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, Chitraji.
okay. So Krishna begins to tell that there are two kinds of people. So one who by their knowledge who find satisfaction, and one who believe in the path of karma yoga, that is just based on their actions. So without beginning or performing actions, work cannot be
Will be
reached.
done.
So,
Yeah.
and there's not a single moment that goes by without engaging or performing any action. So one who can control his senses through his mind and he's detached from all the disturbances around and performs his actions in a yogic way is considered as supreme. So
Supreme. Okay.
this is what,
Yes. Ji.
yeah, and the emphasis on physical health is also important. Is what he's also performing action without attachment with
Our life
discipline.
journey. Yeah, life journey cannot be sustained without taking care of our body, without actions. So that way we have to. Means, Damleji always says, my guru says, Man, Sharir, Pran, Buddhi. For all four, you have to give regular, some feed must be there. Sharirik also, Mansik aspect also, what you like. Mentally also, you can go feed something. For your intelligence also. And then for the prana also. Prana is the, what we can say, the pranavayu. You do pranayam or you do some kind of adhyatmic actions which will feed you with more vibrant energy of pranavayu. Yes, please continue, Ji. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Ji.
So actions that are performed in a state of sacrifice are the only kind that don't attach the karma bandhana.
Ji.
So yeah, the sacrifices can be like letting go of ego and all those things. So and the Prakriti is designed in such a way that it works through sacrifices. And then through sacrifice, we can, it's a two-way thing. You seek the blessings from God, you offer them, they take
Yes.
this and they bless you. So that is one thing. So yeah, only a sinner is that person who thinks that everything is for himself and who doesn't believe in the concept of sacrifice. So this.
Ji. Okay.
Yeah, so mostly, yeah, it's one
Yes.
who is contented and understands the spirit of contentment is a
So
person
you should
who's
do our
always
duties.
joyful.
Yes, so our duties must be done at all times. And life is sometimes throwing challenges at us, but it's okay at all times. We must never forget our duties. We must be ready to face whatever challenges life throws at us. Because only when we do this can we ascend, can we grow consciously, can we evolve. What is spirituality? Many people say, what is the meaning of spirituality? It is actually in simple words in Hindi, if we want to say, Vyaktitva ka vikas, development of personality, blossoming of the personality, your capacities you are increasing. If you are doing that, you have a great indication that you are walking ahead. If you are not blossoming, something is missing. You need to check it and probably resolve that, what is lacking. So, yes. Thank you, Chitraji, for a wonderful summary. With this, we conclude with the Shanti Mantra. All right. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna. Namaskaram. Hari Om. Any queries? Anybody wishes to ask something? You're welcome. Or we'll conclude. Yes, Ji.
Yeah, hi, I want
Adil
to,
Ji.
yeah,
Yes.
like
Yes,
it
Ji.
mentioned in the 11th shloka that with gods, mutually you can together advance. So what
Huh.
are gods advancing towards?
So gods are getting their fervor, isn't it? Means if you see in the Rig Veda, there is a interesting samvad between Indra and Agastya. So gods have been arranged. Like if you see, Indra is considered the lord of the illumined mind. Means in the state of consciousness, something is beyond the mind. Then there are other states. So there, that role is being given to the Indra. Agastya is known to be a great Rishi, isn't it? So in that dialogue, it is actually Agastya decides to bypass Indra. Why should I go through Indra? I want to directly reach the highest state of consciousness. So he tries to bypass Indra and go to that. But it is not possible to go without system because it's like you want to go to higher studies or say 12th class, you want to go, you'll have to go from first finish your boards, then go to 11th and then 12th, isn't it? So one step. So something like that. God, these are like different, the devas have been created as typal beings. What is happening is both are advancing. Man's consciousness is also rising, divine also is evolving. But there is something speciality about life in Bhuloka, or why Devas also in the stories they come take birth on earth. is because here there is a maximum chance of progression, rapid progression takes place, because the greatest challenges are in the Bholoka only. The evolution is taking place of what we call gods are like considered to be typal beings. Each of them have a particular level. So they are both advancing as a system that has been created.
And it is mentioned that Brahma created the world.
Yeah, Brahma created the world. Brahma arose from the Akshara.
So Brahma also has a desire.
Brahma is, if we assume Brahma is like us, he is sitting in his room and then he's thinking and then he's having
I
desire. But
want to
Brahma
ask
is Brahma
divine.
is in Sanskrit, Brahma means that he is considered creator, Prajapati, creator of the world, creator of the universe. Now, how is this creator going to be? It is a matter of visualization, isn't it? So we can say, Chalo, Brahma had this desire. But what was that desire? Was it Ahankar? Ahankar of human beings is also, we also have desire. Was Brahma's desire also an Ahankar? Eko ham bahusyami. Well, it is the Mahavakya. I am one, let me become many. Let me evolve. But even Brahma, before Brahma, there was a desire, no, for the Akshara to
Yeah.
become Brahma.
So divine is
From
also
formless.
not free of divine is also
Ah,
not free of desire.
no, if you look at it from desire from our point of view, but what is the aham of a human being and what is the aham of the divine is a difference, isn't it? The aham brahmasmi, if I say aham brahmasmi, what will you say? He's a fool. He's not realized the full Brahman. Means it's like my father can say I am my father, isn't it? I am a dad, isn't it? I can't say that, no. I can say I can be like him. I can be like him, but I am not that. So something like that. The desires, if we see, they're not human level desires. It is a consciousness, we can say. The consciousness had this feeling of expanding, of growing. The Taittiriya Upanishad talks about how the elements came condensed in a particular format also. Akashad, Vayu, Vayu, Ragni, Ragni, Rapaha, Adbhya, Prithvi, and then Prithvi, Vanaspati, all this growth, something has happened. Means we can say somewhere some stirring took place in consciousness. Everything was quiet and peaceful. And from that, something originated, what we call Big Bang. So they call it Brahmanad. It is called Brahmanad, isn't it? The origin, the sound of creation. Many say it is Om. Who went to measure it? They understood it by cognition, something. It is interesting. It is interesting that each of these actions have some kind of a very big principle behind it. Om is fundamental sound. Actually, if you cut your tongue also, you can still say Om. Experiment if you want, just hold your tongue and try saying Om. You will be able to say Om. Because these three are said to be the primordial sounds. From these sounds, everything originated. And there was a great light, origin of light. We do not know, but a sperm and ovum fusion also creates a light that has been now caught in microscopes at that particular level. We say now we have got telescopes. That time people didn't have, they still had Navagrahas then. How did they understand the grahas are there? And then from the telescope, somebody says, yes, now it sounds believable that in the middle of nowhere there is like a serpent. But we say on Vasuki, our Vishnu is resting. That is also our Milky Way, we call it, that is sounding interesting. Akash Ganga does not sound interesting, which was there before, because it's not logical. So this exactly desire, we can say, what is it? But we can say something was there, isn't it? We don't know what it is. It is not like my desire for eating a chocolate. It is not the same as the desire of Brahma for creating Srishti. But on a lowest term, we can say, chalo, desire. But that is a conscious desire, and that conscious desire has created so much. My desire for chocolate might only get me caught by my guru. He will say, you have eaten without asking, you have to, or something like that. Beyond that, it will not work. What will it do? This is a lower desire, isn't it? Nothing concrete or nothing great will come out of it. My desire to eat a particular food, it comes in, it might create troubled bowels. Maximum creativity that can happen would be that only. But Srishti, there's a higher consciousness. Maybe that was a desire, like you have identified it. Yes, Brahma's desire, but it is not the same as human level. Not comparable also. Because this is at a higher metaphysical level. So many factors come which are beyond our cognition also. Beyond our understanding. Means We know 3 dimensions, we can see things. But somebody in a 2-dimensional world cannot understand the 3rd dimension. Something like that in 3rd dimensional world, if there is a 4th dimension which we don't understand, it will break our mind's logic. Everything will suddenly get twisted. So there was something, some stirring of consciousness. Some say it was the Damaru shaking. Different, there's just a difference of perceptions of different yogis, but it has a symbolic aspect, which is having embedded in some truth. Yes, see. Yeah, all right, Hariom.
Hariom, sir, I have
Yes,
one small question, sir.
yes, ma'am.
Sir, actually, one of the desire is to have support of our loved ones, especially parents. And loss is human loss is the biggest loss, I feel. So how,
Yeah,
if, for example, we know that death is inevitable, that we
okay.
already know. So how, sir, we can overcome this desire or overcome the loss of loved ones or
Yeah,
especially
loss.
parents or
Loss.
desire to have support in the
No,
long
these are
term?
these are two different things. One is we
No,
look at
one
first
one
our
question
parents.
is
Parents.
yes,
We just
one
look at
question is first
parents.
is
Parents.
yes,
Yeah. No,
and second loss. Both the
yes.
questions, please,
Yes.
sir.
The first thing is parents is I can go to a eatery and order my favorite food, isn't it? According to the toppings and everything, I can choose exactly what I want. But can I choose my parents? No, isn't it? So how our parents are, they are our parents. So we can understand that our parents are, we can say Mata, Pita, Gurudev, we respect them so much. But many times in our, that is so much special in our Bharatiya system that we have this respect, a kind of divine respect. But many times this comes with a liability also. Sometimes they don't act divine. What do we do? Then it becomes Dharma Sankata. God says we have to follow. So what should I do? So that is sometimes recognizing that in some places our parents are our best guides, our best friends, but some places they are not. How can we identify it? Well, with detachment only. Because otherwise, if we implicitly accept everything our parents say, what's going to happen? We will not be able to progress also, isn't it? Birds also have to fly out of the nests, isn't it? They have to. They have to spread their wings and fly. They cannot remain there only all the time. And this is a decision of the bird only. The bird has to take that decision. So yes, we cannot force. Prahlada, he kept doing japa of Narayana, isn't it? His father was Hiranyakashipu. What can he do? Can he do anything about it? No, not at all. So each person is going to have their karmas. I personally want my father to probably recognize and understand Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, everything, or revere Sri Aurobindo because I enjoy and I like. But can I make that? Can I enforce it? I cannot. So what can I do in this state then? Despite all my efforts, something is not working. I have to accept it. So acceptance is moving. And it answers the second question also of death also. Acceptance only. Many times death is something which is very personal, but death only starts the spiritual journey in many people. Buddha also, what was it? It was death. Who is going to answer this question of death? What's going to happen? What will happen? Even all of us, when we lose somebody, it is like meaning of life is broken, isn't it? Shaken. Cannot understand what to do. How is it? But first step is towards even bereaving is first acceptance. If you don't accept, you cannot. And then I know people personally who have lost one wonderful doctor who lost her husband in a unfortunate incident very early in life. She sees her, she is not sorrowful. Actually, she was the most cheerful person. I came to know afterwards the very tragic story, how unexpectedly it happened. And it was like all planning because the person also was a perfectly fit person. Just fell like that. Unfortunately, and perfectly fit in the sense extremely fit, extremely intelligent, best buddhi, best sharira, everything. And she says, astrologically also I could not predict, she said. We had a long discussion. I couldn't predict why it happened. And this person had already written down, done all the tests also to ensure nothing happens. It still happened. Now, why it happened, that question, if you try to understand, it may take a lifetime to understand why it happened. And we're not saying it will never understand it. But she's accepted the fact that it's okay. It's okay. It has happened. It was not in my control. But that is a factor which is there, no, in the world. It's not just now. So many people have experienced it. How can I go? Is by recognizing the moments that I had. Those moments are valuable. And for her, he is still with her. She sees him in her child also. And that difference is not there. And I know so many people. My young friend lost his, means my friend is not young anymore because I cannot call myself young. But when we were in school, he lost his mom. Till now, he remembers his mom so much. There's another friend who is having a mom, but he doesn't remember at all. So this is the aspect that has to be accepted because it is one of the truths of life. Unfortunately, not accepting it will not negate it, no? And we all think it will happen to somebody else. It will happen to everybody. It can happen to us also. And I think Manaचे श्लोक it is there. No? मरे एक त्याचा दुजा शोक वाहे अकस्मात तोही पुढे जात आहे. Means we are also going towards that direction only. We cry because somebody else. But again, means how many देह रक्षणार्थ कती यत्न केला तरी शेवटी काळ घेऊन गेला. To protect the body, how many efforts were done? Ultimately, time took. All the Chiranjeevs also, what we say, young, strong, powerful people. So acceptance in both places. Accept my parents are like this. You don't get frustrated. Why did they do it? I cannot tolerate it. Why did this person? They should not have done it. They were wrong. And what will you do? You are going to give grades to them, right and wrong. Parents are parents. They will do the best job. They know how to do it. That is all you can understand. Respect it. They didn't understand it. But don't try to prove it. I want them to understand, then that's a unnecessary karma bandhana. One day they will understand, or I will make them realize. Who are you to make them realize when you have not realized first? Your realization should be yours. In the process, realization may happen or may not happen to the other person. And that is why detachment is required, no? Otherwise, what happens? We are not detached. All life for my parents, I tried. You will become 90 years old and still you will still have that, or I could not. I know of a retired mother, because she's a mother of my friend. She still fights with her mother. They don't see eye to eye. They are in the same city, but they are living in different homes. I cannot tolerate. And she's asking me, what will I get if I read Gita? So the grandmother is so senior. She's still having a fight. It is not an age factor at all, because many think at least sometime later. And they invest all of their time, all of their resources in trying to understand, and emotional attachments also. Many times, there's actually one very big drawback in our Indian family system, which we say, no, we are proud of it, but a lot of extra baggage also we are unnecessarily carrying. Somewhere what we can say, we had a beautiful connect with society and this system, and it would all, now we have become all nuclear. Nobody knows in the next apartment system what's happening. So there's no check. Because there is no check, because society, we are not connected, this wrong goes on. And sometimes people have to, very nice people also have to bear throughout their life, and they say this is the burden of this birth. I have done so many things. It's not that what you have done, everything. It is not the burden of the birth that you have been born with. It is a societal issue. It is an issue which has to be resolved. Earlier, there used to be gurus who would come and even shout and share, this is wrong. Neighbors would be knowing, this is not right, this is the right thing, because all were connected. Now we are not connected that way. So that is why it happens. So here is acceptance. Acceptance is अपने हैं, parents अपने ही हैं, change तो कर नहीं पाएंगे. Even if we want to change them, something is wrong also. You cannot change anybody unless they want to change. Arjuna could not be
So
changed.
it is said that so it is said that you can't choose your parents and your manager, boss.
Manager also. Acha, I don't know. Manager probably. You can choose your company if you want. कि चलो ठीक है. But there also, yes, again. Yes. So I think acceptance is important, but detachment is most important, because until you are detached, you will be manipulated. You will always be manipulated, and you will feel, you'll not understand it only. And manipulation is actually a very, what we can say, it's a very twisted thing to do, but it is done everywhere. So at least to insulate ourselves from that, we have to sometimes become very strong also. No matter what words are told from anybody else. How will you know that? When you are quiet on the inside, you're connected with your duty, because duty is what commands you. Duty is duty towards yourself also. Swadharma, that is something. Yes, ma'am. So, all right. Hari Om.
Thank you very much, sir.
Namaskaram ji.
Hari
Thank
Om.
you. Hari Om. Jai Shri Krishna. Hari Om. Punarmilam. Tomorrow is, yes, Friday.
I
Yeah.
have one more
Mhm.
question. I'm sorry.
Okay. No problem. Why sorry? Yes, ji.
So, actually, we just talked about the attachment and the parents. Obviously, that's fine. So, my
Mhm.
question is, the example that you gave, that a friend, her, like, let's say there's a kid who still remember his or her parents who have passed away, but won't, like, if we are remembering the people who have passed away, isn't it attachment then?
Isn't it attachment?
Yeah, that's the question.
So now you are learning you are
I'm
in
asking.
Germany. No, you're in Germany, isn't it, ji? Joyce?
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
are so you are learning probably in science only, no? Science field only, no? You are doing
Yeah.
a master's.
Yeah.
Why are you reading about people who have passed away?
People go?
Philosophies, people who have passed away. All the scientists, the principles that we are learning, no? They've all passed away, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
Are we attached
nice
to them?
example.
We're not
Understood.
attached to
Thank
them.
you.
The teachings are there, no? So the child is
Okay.
remembering the fond moments, which is supporting the child in life. That is all. If the
Understood.
child
Thank you.
still remembers my mother scolded me that day, even then it's an attachment, which is not unnecessary. It's unnecessary. You're not drawing any light from it. Ji, ji.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. All right. Okay. Yes. Hari Om. Namaskar. Yeah.
Hari Om.